Hello, 12th class. Let us proceed to a detailed comprehension of our story, The Singing Lesson, and enjoy it. As we know, that Miss Meadows is a singing teacher. Her fiance's name is Bessel, who does not appear physically in the story, but we get to know him through the inner working of Miss Meadows' mind. He is described to be a young man of 25 who committed to marry her, but also appears to be an insensitive man by sending a letter to her saying, I do not want to be called a married man. Miss Meadows' moods are determined by what Bessel has written through this letter to her. She is devastated. She is totally broken. And as usual, now she is going to take her music class with very sad heart. So we start our story, the singing lesson, with despair cold, sharp, despair buried deep in her heart like a wicked knife. Miss Meadows, in cap and gown and carrying a little baton, trod the cold corridors that led to the music hall. Means with despair, very with no hope, cold, and with the buried deep, with the hidden deep in her heart, like a wicked knife, means troubled knife. Miss Meadows, in cap and gown and carrying a little baton. Baton is a stick to instrument the band in the orchestra, in the band or orchestra. And she is going through the corridor to the music hall. And in the hall, girls of all ages rosy from the air and bubbling over with that gleeful excitement that comes from running to school on a fine autumn morning. Means girls in the class, they are very happy. It is autumn morning, and as they are young or young age, they are feeling lively as they are going to attend their music class. Hurried, skipped, fluttered by. Means very quick, they are going to the music class. From the hollow classrooms came a quick drumming of voices. A bell rang. Suddenly a bell rang. A voice called, a bird cried, Muriel. Suddenly a sound came, somebody calling Muriel. And then there came from the staircase a tremendous knocking. Means somebody was climbing on the stairs, and the children, they were now trying to be quiet. Someone had dropped her dumbbells. As Miss Meadows was going to her music class, she was very quiet, she was very silent. Suddenly, her silence is broken, and the science mistress stopped Miss Meadows, and she was the science mistress. Good morning, she cried in a sweet, affected drawl. Isn't it cold? It might be winter. So she greeted her with a genuine, affected means the genuine speaking very slowly. Isn't it cold? It might be winter soon. Miss Meadows hugging the knife. Hugging the knife means as if the knife twisting in her heart, stared in hatred at the science mistress. She did not want to look at her. Everything about her was sweet, pale like honey, because everybody liked a science teacher very much. She was beautiful also. Her voice was also very nice. So she hated her little bit. You would not have been surprised to see a bee caught in the tangles of that yellow hair. She had a yellow hair, and if the bee is caught, it is not this very strange thing, because her hair was very beautiful. It is rather sharp, said Miss Meadows grimly. She responded to her. She said, yes, it is rather sharp. And the other smiled her sugary smile. And she, science teacher as usual, she gave a sugary smile. You look frozen, said she. Her blue eyes opened wide. There came a mocking light in them. Then she found something wrong in the face of Miss Meadows. She said, you look frozen today. Oh, not quite as bad as that, said Miss Meadows. And she gave the science mistress, in exchange for a smile, a quick grimace and passed on. Means she gave a little disgustful facial expression and went away. Now forms 4, 5 and 6 were assembled in the music hall. Now the children were arranging themselves in the groups. The noise was deafening, and then slowly, the noise in the classroom was becoming quiet. And on the platform by the piano stood Mary Beasley, Miss Meadows' favorite, who played accompaniments. Accompaniments means to support a person to plan the instrument. So who was that? Was Mary, this Mary Beasley. She used to support her. She was turning the music stool. Now she was getting ready for everything. When she saw Miss Meadows, she gave a loud warning, "Shh, girls." And Miss Meadows, her hands thrust in her sleeves, the baton under her arm, strode down the center aisle, mounted the steps, turned sharply, seized the brass music stand, planted it in front of her, and gave two sharp taps with a baton for silence. As usual, she went means giving going through the aisle, went to the this where the music instruments were kept, and she stood in front of the this music stand. She make it properly and gave the two sharp taps with her baton. "Silence, please, immediately," she said, and looking at nobody, her glance swept over the sea of colored flannel blouses with bobbing pink faces and hands, quivering butterfly hair bows and music books outspread. And she saw that nobody her means she didn't look to anybody, and the girls, they were with very means bobbing pink faces and hands. They were spreading the music books outspread, and she knew perfectly well what they were thinking. She knew that today the children are thinking something is wrong in the in the singing teacher. Midday is in wax. They may be thinking, "Well, let them think it." She said, "Let them think it." Her eyelids quivered and her eyelids moved. She tossed her head, defying them, means disregarding them. What could the thoughts of those creatures matter to someone who stood there bleeding to death, pierced to the heart by such a letter? So she started thinking, what these things will matter to these girls? What has happened to me by that letter which had totally pierced my heart? These girls may not be knowing this. And then she remembers what is written in the letter by her fiancé. "I feel more and more strongly that a marriage would be a mistake. Not that I do not love you. I love you as much as it is possible for me to love any woman. But truth to tell, I have come to the conclusion that I am not a marrying man, that I don't want to be called a married man. And the idea of settling down fills me with nothing but," and the word disgust, he was going to write word disgust, but later on he was scratched out lightly and written regret, written over the top. But this disgust word was not scratched nicely. Basil, Miss Meadows stalked over the piano, and Mary Beasley was waiting for this moment, bent forward. Her curls fell over her cheeks while she breathed, "Good morning, Miss Meadows." And while she was thinking about this letter, then she gave a stalk on the piano. And Beasley, she started, "Good morning," as usual. She said, "Good morning, Miss Meadows," and she motioned towards, rather than handed to her mistress, a beautiful yellow chrysanthemum flower. It is a very beautiful flower. So as every day she used to give to her teacher, music teacher, the chrysanthemum flower. The little ritual of the flower had been gone through her for ages and ages, quite a term and a half. It was as much part of the lesson as opening the piano, as if it is a lesson that as she was open the piano, she will be given the chrysanthemum flower. But this morning, instead of taking it up, instead of tucking it into her belt, while she leant over Mary and said, "Thank you, Mary, how very nice," means instead of saying this thank you or taking the flower very nicely, on turn to page 32, what was Mary's horror? But today is opposite, contrary to this. Mary's horror when Miss Meadows totally ignored the chrysanthemum. Today she did not take notice of the chrysanthemum flower, made no reply to her greeting, but said in a voice of ice, "Page 14, please, and mark the accents well." And she said, ordered them to open the page 14. Staggering moment, shocking moment for all the girls. Mary blushed until the tears stood in her eyes. Mary could not understand what is wrong with the teacher. Today she did not take the flower nicely, and today she is looking in an anger look. But Miss Meadows was gone back to the music stand. Her voice rang through the music hall. Page 14, and we will begin with page 14, a lament. Means today we will go with a lament song. Now girls, you ought to know by this time, we shall take it all together, not in parts, all together. and without expression. Means you have to sing this without any expression. Sing it, though quite simply, beating time with the left hand. So by left hand you will beat, give the beating. She raised the baton, she raised the instrument, and she tapped the music stand. Mad, she tapped the music stand twice, and down came Mary on the opening chord, and she started playing the instrument, Mary. Down came all those left hands beating the air, and in chimed those young mournful voices. And what they had to sing? Fast are to fast fade the roses of pleasure, soon autumn yields into winter drear. Fleetly are fleetly music's gay measure passes away from the listening ear. So, good heavens, what could be more tragic than that lament? Every note was a sigh, a sob, a groan of awful mournfulness. Miss Meadows lifted her arms in the white gown and began conducting with both hands. So each and every word was of this song was full of sob or a sigh. I feel more and more strongly that our marriage would be a mistake. Again, she goes into the world of letter. Here instructing also, and but she is in the world of letter, that what he has written, that I don't want to be a married man. She beat, and she gave a very loud beat. And the voices cried, Fleetly, ah, Fleetly. What could have possessed him to write such a letter? Again she goes into the letter. What could have led it up to it? It came out of nothing. His last letter had been all about a fumed oak bookcase he had bought for our books and a natty little hall stand, and he had seen a very neat affair with a carved owl on a bracket holding 3 hat brushes in its claws. How she had smiled at that! So like a man to think one needed 3 hat brushes. From the listening ear sang the voices. Means she is reminded of that earlier he was very he liked to buy the things to decorate the room. But suddenly what had happened? What had gone wrong with her lover? Once again, said Miss Meadows. Again she returned to the class. And by this time in parts, still without expression. You sing in parts without giving any expression. Fast, ah, too fast. With the gloom of the contraltos added. Means the lowest female singing voices, very lowest. One could scarcely help shuddering. And the girls were shaking in fear. What is wrong with the teacher? Sometimes she is saying go loud, sometimes down. They could not understand how to sing. Fade the roses of pleasure. Last time he had come to see her, Basil had worn a rose in a buttonhole. How handsome he had. Again she went into the world of a fiancé. That last time he had he had worn a rose in his buttonhole. How handsome he had looked in that bright blue suit with a dark red rose, and he knew it too. He couldn't help knowing it. First he stroked his hair. He used to stroke his hair in a smartness. Then his mustache. His teeth gleamed when he smiled. And she said, the headmaster's wife and he said to Miss Meadows, the headmaster's wife keeps on asking me to dinner. It's a perfect nuisance. I never get an evening to myself in that place. But can't you refuse? Then she said, you should have refused her that I could not come. Oh, well, it doesn't do for a man in my position to be unpopular. So he is saying that I am such a popular man that everybody wants to dine with me. So he was very happy with her. Music's gay measure wailed the voices. Again the howl or cry. The girls sometimes they could not understand how to sing. They are howling or crying. The willow trees outside the high narrow windows waved in the wind. They had lost half their leaves. The tiny ones that clung wriggled like fishes caught on a line. I am not a marrying man. The voices were silent. The piano waited. Again, means she is thinking outside it is autumn season. The leaves are also not there on the tree, and the new leaves are coming. And then the voices in the singing class was silent. The piano also waited for the next instruction. Then Miss Meadows said, quite good, said Miss Meadows, but still in such a strange stony tone that the younger girls began to feel positively frightened. But now that we know it, we shall take it with expression. Now she is instructing them that you have to go with the expression. And as much expression as you can put into it. She told them that you have to put as much expression you can. Fast, ah, too fast, cried Miss Meadows. and that ought to break out a loud, strong fort, a lament. And then in the second line, winter drear. Drear means dull, dull expression. Make that drear sound as if a cold wind were blowing through it. Drear means you have to give expression. She instructing them. So in this way, said she so awfully that Mary Bisley on the music stool wriggled her spine. She started shaking. The third line could be one crescendo, means increase in the sound. Fleetly music's gave measure. Breaking on the first word of the last line passes and then on the word away. You must begin to die. Means fleetly means show with your expression that you are dying. To fade until the listening ear is nothing more than a faint whisper. You can slow down as much as you like almost on the last line. Now please. Means as the last line you have to go slow, very slow as if you are dying. So according to her mood, according to the song she is giving, she wants the girl should also give expression. Again the two light taps. She lifted her arms again. Fast, too fast. And the idea of settling down fills me with nothing but disgust. Again she is reminded of the letter. Disgust word. Disgust was what he had written. That was as good as to say their engagement was definitely broken off. Broken off their engagement. People had been surprised enough that she had got engaged. And she started thinking, what will the people will say that she is engaged and now it is broken off. The science mistress would not believe it at first. But nobody had been as surprised as she. Means she is, even if she is surprised, the others will be also be surprised. She was 30 and she thinks, and she is thinking about herself that she at her age was 30 and Bessel was 25. It had been a miracle, simply a miracle, to hear him say as they walked home from church that very dark night. She reminded of that day when he proposed her. You know, somehow or other I have got fond of you. And he had taken hold of the end of her ostrich feather boa, passes away from the listening ear. And then she is again comes to the music class, the world of music class. Repeat, said Miss Meadows. More expression, girls. Once more. Fast, too fast. The older girls were crimson. Their faces were getting red. She could not understand the girls. Some of the younger ones began to cry. And big spots of rain blew against the windows. It started raining outside. And one could hear the willows whispering, not that I do not love you. Again, she is reminded of the letter, that I do not love you. That don't think that I do not love you, but I don't want to be called a married man. But my darling, if you love me, thought Miss Meadows, I do not mind how much it is. Love me as little as you like. But she knew he did not love her. But now she thinks that he doesn't love her. Not to have cared enough to scratch out that word disgust. If by mistake, if he had written the word disgust, he would have scratched it nicely so that she could not read it. But he did not do so. Soon autumn yields unto winter drear. She would have to leave the school. Again she is reminded of that if this will happen, she will have to leave the school. How she will face the teachers? She could never face the science mistress or the girls after it got known. She would have to disappear somewhere. Passes away. Again the line comes in the song, passes away. The voices began to die, to fade, to whisper, to vanish. And the girls now they were unable to sing longer. While this was going on, suddenly the door opened. A little girl in blue walked fussily, means not pleasing way, up the aisle and hanging her head, biting her lips and twisting the silver bangle on her red little wrist, she came up the steps and stood before Miss Meadows. Well, Monica, what is it? Oh, if you please, Miss Meadows, said the little girl, gasping. Miss Watt wants to see you in the mistress' room. Very well, said Miss Meadows, and she called to the girls. I shall put you on your honor to talk quietly while I am away. So before going, she told the girls, you please talk quietly and while I am away. But they were too subdued to do anything else. But today they were shocked. They were motionless now. Most of them were blowing their noses. Some of them were weeping. The corridors were silent and cold. They echoed to Miss Meadows' steps. While she was going to the headmistress' room, only her steps were coming. The sound of her steps were coming. The headmistress sat at her desk. For a moment she did not look up. She was, as usual, disentangling means separating her eyeglasses, which had got caught in her lace tie. Sit down, Miss Meadows. And when she saw Miss Meadows, she said, sit down. She said very kindly, and then she picked up a pink envelope from the blotting pad. I sent for you just now because this telegram has just come for you. I have called you because the telegram has come for you. A telegram for me, Miss Wyatt? Basil. He had committed suicide, decided Miss Meadows. Now Miss Meadows was a little frightened of that had he committed suicide. Her hand flew out, but Miss Wyatt held the telegram back a moment. I hope it's not bad news, she said. No more than kindly, and Miss Meadows tore it open, and she quickly tore it open. Pay no attention to letter. Must have been mad, but had stand today, Basil, she read. She could not take her eyes off the telegram. What was written? Please don't pay attention to what I have written in the letter. Today I will buy you the hat stand. I do hope it's nothing very serious, said Miss Wyatt, leaning forward. And Miss Wyatt was reading her face. So she said, I hope it is nothing serious. Nothing serious? Oh no, thank you, Miss Wyatt. Blushed Miss Meadows. It's nothing bad at all. It is. And she gave an apologetic little laugh. It's from my fiancé, saying that. There was a pause. I see, said Miss Wyatt. And another pause. Then, you have 15 minutes more of your class, Miss Meadows, haven't you? So, she said, okay, if there is nothing serious, you have more 15 minutes for your class. You can go to your class. Yes, Miss Wyatt. And she got up. She half ran towards the door. Now she was happy that it was all rubbish written by the Basil, and now he is, as usual, he is accepting her. Oh, just 1 minute, Miss Meadows, said Miss Wyatt. Again Miss Wyatt called her. I must say I don't approve of my teachers having telegrams sent to them in school hours. I dislike this. The telegram should come in the school hours, unless in case of very bad news, such as death, explained Miss Wyatt, or a very serious accident or something to that effect. Good news, Miss Meadows, will always keep, So she said, I don't want this again. If it is serious, then only telegram should come. So, or a very serious accident or something to that effect. Good news, Miss Meadows, will always keep, I hope that you may always get good news. On the wings of hope, of love, of joy, Miss Meadows sped back to the music hall, up the aisle, up the steps, over to the piano. Now she was going, now her steps and everything was changed. She was lively. She was in good mood, energetic. Now, as she went into the class, she said, open page 32, Mary. She said, page 32. And picking up the yellow chrysanthemum, and now she took up the chrysanthemum, she held it to her lips to hide her smile, and she put it in front of her lips to hide her smile. She was happy now. Then she turned to the girls wrapped with a baton. Page 32, girls, page 32. We come here today with flowers overladen, with baskets of fruit and ribbons to boot, to congratulate. Stop, stop, cried Miss Meadows. This is awful. And other girls were singing in that way only, as earlier she had instructed. This is dreadful. And she beamed at her girls. What is the matter with you all? Think, girls, think of what you are singing. Use your imaginations. Means here, this is the decorative, the congratulation there is. So sing it nicely with enthusiasm, with flowers so laden, baskets of fruit and ribbons to boot, and congratulate. Miss Meadows broke off. Don't look so doleful, girls. So girls, don't look so cheerless. Be cheerful. It ought to sound warm. This song needs warmness, joyful, eagerness. Congratulate. Once more, quickly, all together. Now then. And this time, Miss Meadows' voice sounded over all the voices, full deep, glowing with expression. So, we end this story here, children. I hope you all have enjoyed it. So, next meet, we will go with the discussions of the question answer or the notes. Till then, Have a nice time. Thank you.